Hey guys, Sean here. Welcome to the F1 Word and to the qualifying watch-along for the 2025 Canadian Grand Prix. How are we all doing? Sorry for the slight delay there. I was trying to decide whether I wanted this t-shirt on or not. It's really hot. I may have to disappear for 2 minutes to go change the shirt. It's a hell of a lot thicker than I thought it was going to be. And it is so warm in this office. So apologies immediately for the moaning. But if you can hear the fan in the background, not a lot I can do about it. I need something on just to try and, cool me off a little bit. So if it's a bit loud, I do apologize. So there we go. Lots to get into. We'll get into that in just a second. I'll give you some shout outs in chat before we get going. Hey to Michael, says hey Sean, guys here as always. Thank you very much, Michael. So, hey to Tim, says hang on Yuki, hang on, obscure musical reference, sorry. You're showing your age with that reference and I'm showing mine by getting it, says Michael, talking to Tim there. Fake name is here. Hey fake name, hope you well, mate. Also MD Games, thank you for being a member for 15 months. Hey to Fud, hope you're doing okay, mate. Ready for this one. Hey to Jithu, says it's 1 a.m. here. Oh, God. I don't know. I don't sleep at night at this time of year, so I suppose I shouldn't really complain too much, but there we go. A couple of references as well to the song in there. Hey to Pascal, probably only just getting over from the fifth place for Nico Hulkenberg in Spain, I'd imagine. So hope you're doing well, mate. Good to see you once again. And yeah, an interesting weekend ahead. I have gone with the Lance Stroll shirt today. However, it is really hot, so it may have to change. So we'll see how we go before quali gets started. But I hope you're all having a cracking Saturday. I have had a cracking Saturday. Weird today. Canada's such a weird time. Spend all day kind of sitting around waiting for something and then it all comes at once and you sort of think your day's over. It could be worse. You could have to watch Sky coverage with Danica Patrick and Nico Rosberg. So, that's been fun this weekend, hasn't it? I've not watched a lot, I'll be honest. I've watched the practice sessions, but I've been syncing up the older F1 TV coverage to the commentary to the Sky coverage because I just can't listen to Danica Patrick. It's as simple as that. We did have a session this morning, FP3 session. Lando Norris topping that one with a 111, 799. That's wrong. Is it? Something's wrong somewhere. I see. Why, don't matter. Ignore me. 111.799. 111.877 for Charles Leclerc and a 111.950 for George Russell. I'd love to sit here and say it looks close, but I don't want to fall into the trap we used to with Mercedes. You know the old saying. What was it? Roses are red, violets are blue. Silver Arrow's in trouble, Mercedes 1-2. We might be looking at that with McLaren this season, so let's see how we go. Lewis Hamilton fourth, 112.0. The two Ferraris looking good so far. Max Verstappen a little bit off it this weekend so far, fifth with a 112.07. Fernando Alonso didn't like the car, wasn't happy at all, was sixth on a 112.2 and less than half a second off the fastest time. Bit of speculation about Fernando. We'll talk about that in a minute. Silly season is starting. Oscar Piastri, eighth place, 112.5, tagged the wall today. Gave himself a puncture, basically nothing worse than that, so lost a bit of time there, but there was a red flag anyway, so maybe not that much. Carlos Sainz and Alex Albon, great start to the weekend. They were second and third in FP1, ended up 9th and 10th in FP3, 11th for Isack Hadjar and 12th for Pierre Gasly, 13th for Liam Lawson, 14th for Lance Stroll, 15th Ollie Bearman, 16th for Esteban Ocon, 17th for Franco Colapinto, 18th for Nico Hulkenberg, 19th for Bortoletto, and Yuki Tsunoda, 20th place and last. There are some investigations going on. George Russell is one of them. He has been given a penalty, or not a penalty, but a fine. I think a fine. Where are you? Fined $100 €100 for pit lane speeding twice, I believe, unless that's just a rework on that one. We've also got alleged overtaking under red flag for car 5, which is Bortoletto, and car 22, which is Tsunoda. So there may well be, if the stewards take action there, some grid drops. Didn't Ollie Bearman get 10 places for overtaking under a red flag at some stage? Yeah, not sure. The best part of the Sky build-up coverage is when you press the mute button, says Fud. Yeah, I feel that one. Simon Lazenby has grown on me over the years. He has. So I'll address the Alonso comment because I'll come to you in a second live with yours. Thank you so much for being a member, mate, as always, but I'll answer that question as well. So Jithy says, come on, Sean, he ain't going to Alpine. Don't fall into those traps, especially with the Newey car. Now, I don't believe for 1 second that Fernando Alonso is going to Alpine, as the rumours suggest. However, I did also sit on a live stream once, and you may recall it a few years ago, where I said in probably the most confident voice I've ever used in my life. Fernando Alonso isn't going to Alpine, and I'll tell you for why. Then went into a 20-minute explanation about why he wasn't, and then 12 hours later he was confirmed at Aston Martin for the following season. So whilst I don't believe this, you really can't believe what I say, Jithu. However, I may get into trouble, but we'll see. If I get a bollocky afterwards, we'll find out, won't we? But that rumour came out. Crofty said it in commentary that he was apparently rumoured to be on his way to Alpine next year, Mercedes power unit, Flavio Briatore connection, all of that business. But we've done some digging, and specifically Matt has done some digging, and basically the line is that there is nothing in this, which isn't a great surprise. You'd expect to hear that. Effectively, Fernando's been for lunch at Alpine, which is basically it. But we know in Formula One it's never quite that simple, and I absolutely have no doubt whatsoever that Fernando Alonso would love to work with Flavio Briatore again, and Briatore would love to work with Alonso again. But as Jithu said, you've got the Honda power unit coming in. It's a works team now. You've got Adrian Newey there. Why would you give that up to go to what is an absolute fustercluck at Alpine? You just wouldn't. So I don't believe it, but also just again be reminded that I've said I don't believe it before and then look really stupid in less than 12 hours. So it could still happen. We'll see. Could be looking for his, good point on his, because he's managing Gabriele Mini, isn't he? So he might be looking for one there. There is a great shot that might come up during the stream that XPB got this weekend of Paul Aaron walking past a picture of Franco Colapinto. That's probably the next victim at Alpine by the sounds of it. So, Lyle says, sorry, again, thank you for a member for 9 months, Lyle says, thoughts on the Ferrari rumours from team principals Hamilton. Do you think if Frederick were fired, that Horner would leave Red Bull to go to Ferrari? So, we addressed this a couple of weeks ago because there were some rumours coming in and Thomas did some digging, and essentially the news was that the rumours were, or the report was accurate, that there had been an approach for Christian Horner, or at least a conversation, but the official line again from everybody is very much Christian Horner is committed to Red Bull, not happening, blah blah blah. Lewis Hamilton has asked people to stop making things up about his future, and I assume Fred Vasseur as well. Charles Leclerc has come out in defence of Fred Vasseur, and Fred Vasseur has kind of rubbished it too. But if these reports were indeed accurate, that Christian Horner was approached by Ferrari, then nobody's making anything up. Even if Christian Horner said no, Ferrari have still potentially made that approach. So they're obviously not 100% happy with what's going on. And I've seen a lot of, Ferrari are second in the constructors. What are we talking about here? They're second in the constructors. This is great. They are second in the constructors, but they were second in the constructors last year, nearly missed out on a title, have fallen even further behind McLaren, and with the greatest of respect to the two drivers we're going to list here, Yuki Tsunoda and Kimi Antonelli are not exactly right on their teammates' pace right now. So Ferrari have 2 cars versus 1 Mercedes and 2 cars versus 1 Red Bull for the most part. Not trying to dump on Antonelli. I think he's done all right, but he's not, he's not up there all the time, is he? It's not like you've got a Norris Piastri style driver lineup at Mercedes that is taking points away from Ferrari every opportunity. So I would argue Ferrari should, as a minimum, have been coming into this season as second in the constructors with the lineup they've got, the car they had last year, the work they did over the winter, the talk of this season being a better season. I would have expected them second. So I don't think it's much of a win to say that. So it then comes out that apparently his contract's up at the end of this year, Fred Vasseur, so he could still leave. I don't know what's going on at Ferrari. I do agree that chopping it's not like, I think it was Martin Brundle who said it yesterday, it's not like chopping and changing managers in football, is it? Chopping and changing managers in Formula One teams is a lot more complicated and causes more problems, so they can't keep doing that. And Fred Vasseur's right as well, I've got to say it. He said quite clearly, we've changed team principals, we've changed drivers, we've changed the cars, and then he said there's one thing we haven't changed. I don't know what that other one thing is, but clearly, maybe expectation. I don't know. Let me know what you think in chat. But a lot of rumours going on. I don't think Hamilton's going anywhere at the end of this year. I think anybody who is contracted for next year will be on the grid next year because you want to see where your team lands, don't you, in 2026? What if Lewis Hamilton decided, I'm done with this, and he leaves, and Ferrari do turn out to be the team to beat next year? What a mistake that'll be. So of course he'll stick around. So I think it's silly. Maybe engineer, says Fox. Yeah, perhaps. Good evening. Ferrari domination in Le Mans right now. Shall we see how badly they mess up in F1, says Red Raven. To be honest, Red Raven, I might in a minute, because it's really, really hot in here. I'm going to moan about it all bloody day and I don't care. I might go change the Ferrari shirt in a minute because it's a thinner shirt. So I got another one because I just keep spending money on T-shirts. So thank you again, Lyle. Thank you to Jithu as well for your comments and that. Pascal says, I'm fine. Thank you, Sean. How are you? Emma Feldermeyer, supported by the Saudi... My teeth back in. Sauber Academy just won the F1 Academy race, so there you go. Spoilers there. Thanks, Pascal. Ruined that for everybody. But yeah, no, I think I just caught the end of it. I think there was a yellow flag, and then they also had to do a restart, and it looked like absolute chaos over the line. So, yeah, that's an interesting one to keep an eye on, I suppose. Also, have you been watching Le Mans, says Jithu? I saw the start, and I watched about 45 minutes in the run-up to practice, then had dinner, then came up and got the stream ready, then complained about it being hot, and then started the stream. So yeah, not caught much, but I'll watch some more in bed tonight. I'll have it on in the background, see what's going on. But yeah, Ferrari looking good. Would that be their third Le Mans win in a row if they were to win tomorrow when this is over, when it's all over? I think it would be. We all know what happened. Alonso will leave Aston, and the year after they'll win the... Yeah, exactly that. That's the problem as well, isn't it, Fud? I'll tell you what, right? I think next year it sounds like Mercedes are going to be the favourites and the team to beat, okay? So we'll say that right away. But if Alonso has the chance to go to Alpine and he turns it down, you can bet your ass that Alpine are going to be better than Aston Martin next season. And if he went to Alpine, you can bet your ass Aston Martin would have been better than Alpine. Because that's just Fernando's luck when it comes to driver moves. He doesn't always get them right, does he? Poor Fernando. So there we go. Yori says Leclerc question mark on the Ferrari. We did say change the drivers, so I don't think he was referring to Leclerc, although some thought that he might be looking for a way out. But I know he started at Alfa Romeo Sauber, of course, but I think it'd be weird not seeing Charles Leclerc in Ferrari gear. So, yeah, wouldn't fancy that one. So, as for team principal, they are not going to get a better one than Vasseur. So, what's the point? Says Red Raven. Well, look at the trouble. I know they're different situations, but look at the trouble that Alpine are having trying to find a team principal. So, the market is not exactly rich with them, is it? And that's why Christian Horner's been linked to all of them for one reason or another. So, well, because to be fair to Christian Horner, you know, people don't like him, and I can understand why they don't, and they have their reasons, but you can't deny the job he's done at Red Bull has been pretty special over the years. Yes, he's had a lot of help from others, and Adrian Newey cars always help as well, but he's still done a cracking job there, so credit where it's due at the end of the day. So I agree, there's not a lot of point. Yeah, there was something I was going to moan about, and I can't remember what it was now, so I'll maybe come back to that later, other than it's a bit warm. And I also know that people will say, oh, in my country it's this temperature and blah blah blah. I get that, but it's muggy and it's a tiny office, and I've got the PC throwing hot air at me, and it hates me as well today for some reason. So yeah, that was it. It's a bit of a complaint, but it's also a bit of a defense as well. I got I think it was Taylor, I've forgotten his last name now, complained that I scheduled the live streams on Friday in advance, and it blocked up his subscription feed, and then said that he'd unsubscribe if I did it again. So just to be clear, I will be doing it again. I'll do it every race weekend, because I've done it every race weekend for the last 7 years. I have to now, because the team on the site need the embed codes for the streams to be able to put them in for the weekend, so they need them on the Friday, so I have to do it then anyway. But also it's to let people know when I'm live, and I don't think it's that big of a deal. So I apologise to anyone who gets annoyed when they see the live streams being scheduled and pop up in your live sub box, but ultimately I have to do it. It's part of the job. So there we go. So apologies to Taylor that annoyed him and ruined his day or whatever, but it's not going to change. So I expect to have to unsubscribe for Austria, because I'll be doing it again, and I will do for Silverstone in every race. So there we go. Just to clarify why I do it, that's why. So Ferrari hasn't changed colour yet, although HP are trying. Good point. Yeah, from Alfie Avka with the colour. Just watching Nico Hulkenberg spin at the final chicane. Have you heard the Davide Valsecchi trackside commentary when Nico Hulkenberg spun at the final corner in practice? If you haven't, go find it. It's hilarious. It's up there with Mark Webber and Azerbaijan 2021. It's really, really good. Just a massive shout and scream. yeah, it was good stuff. Just watched some of the closeness of the walls, and the traffic as well has been really, like, they've forgotten how to drive this weekend after a couple of weeks off, I think, because the traffic's been so bad. It always is in Canada, but they have all been really pushing their luck against the wall of champions, and I love that. As long as everyone's okay, I want to see a car in the wall. It means you're pushing. Let's see some drama. But that wall of champions are going to catch somebody out today. They're flat out, low fuel, potentially softest tyres. We might have some strategy play today in qualifying, because the medium might be the better qualifying tyre. We'll see. But that wall of champions, they've been pushing their luck with it. Piastri has clunked the wall. Hulkenberg's had a spin there. I think somebody else hit the wall there. Lance Stroll hit the wall up at turn 7, which was bizarre. So, yeah. I did very look the other direction, didn't see the car. I'm not surprised. I'd have screamed. I'd have done more than scream, Red Raven. I'd have been, I'd have passed out. I'd have been shocked. I would have had to contain myself. And then I'd get arrested because I shouldn't be down there. So what am I doing there? But great save by Nico. There could have been a lot more damage there. Absolutely, Pascal could have been a really big one. So yeah, I have put a poll in chat. I'll end it before, or I'll try to remember to end it before Q3. I will also change, whilst I remember, because I've just spotted it again, the live timing from last lap to best laps. We need that back for quali, don't we? So we'll do that now. There we go. So that should all be working fine, all sorted. But let me know your predictions in chat. Who do you think is going to take pole position today in Canada? At the moment, McLaren leading the vote, 55%, 14 for Mercedes, 18 for Ferrari, 13 for Red Bull. I'd be surprised if Yuki Tsunoda does it, that's for sure. He has not looked quick this weekend so far. So get your top threes in. I'll give those a read out. And if you are just tuning in, apologies again for any extra noise in the background to the stream. I've just got a fan on because it's a bit warm in this little old box room that I've got here. So I have got another spare room, la-di-da. So I could shift things in there, but it's got wood floors and it'd be a bit of a pain in the arse audio-wise. So we'll see how we go, but it might be a bit better in there. But maybe for the future, maybe one for the winter to sort out. We'll see how we go. Or I've got 2 weeks off in the summer, which will be lovely in August. So I could maybe do something. So we'll see how we go. It just seems like way too much hassle, to be honest, for what is, let's face it, going to be 3 warm days a year. It's the UK. Don't get many more than that. Norris, George and Max, says Tim, as a top 3. So I've seen a few people say Norris today, looking like the favourite at the moment. Piastri, never rule him out. You can't rule Verstappen out either. We've seen this season several times, haven't we, that he can pull a lap out of the bag out of absolutely nowhere. Hamilton, Russell, Norris and Sauber Q2, says Pascal. I think I came into this weekend, Pascal, suggesting that Sauber might get both cars into Q2. Looking at the pace they've had thus far, less confident than I was on that one. But that said, I mean, there's not a lot between. 1.7 seconds covers the entire field. And it's less than that between Hulkenberg and Bortoletto and co ahead. So they might be able to sneak in, but I'm not so sure. I think I went with Piastri pole and Piastri win on Thursday, so I'm not sure. Not sure. Whether or not I want to stick with it. I'm just thinking about what we've seen so far this weekend. The Mercedes pace has been surprising. George Russell has had this ability this weekend so far to just get in that car, slap some tyres on it, and just drive very quickly and find the balance really nicely, really quickly as well. So I'm wondering if he might be one to watch for this one. So, yeah. Locomotive Models says Channel 4 highlights on stupidly late. Sky is far too expensive, so I joined one of my favourite F1 YouTubers for this. Cheers for doing it. No problem at all, Locomotive Models. Thank you for popping along. Good to have you on for company. The more the merrier. We're just going to chill through this together, hopefully, and see how things go. I'm hoping for a good session. Quality tends to be quite good in Canada, so does the race. So, yeah. What time's the Channel 4 highlights tonight? I didn't check. I usually do check. But we're not doing roundups this weekend, so we haven't got anybody on the ground, so I didn't really keep an eye on that. I usually try and put the roundups out after Channel 4 highlights. I'm not sure what time they are. I'm guessing something like 1 o'clock in the morning, I'd imagine, something like that. So they're going to be quite late, aren't they? I could perhaps check, actually, rather than asking. Let's have a quick look, see what we've got. Let's watch a film. Let's forget F1. Let's watch NASA Nazis in the space race. That'd be great. Why not, eh? So yeah, qualifying highlights 1:25 a.m. I mean, I'm not being funny. I don't know what their contract says, but you may as well put them on in the morning at breakfast, surely. And is Piastri going to be able to race in qualifying, says Enver? I think so. Yeah, I've not seen anything to suggest otherwise, so hopefully he will do. Music is kicking in, so I'll sort of time out in a minute. If you suddenly see the lights turn off as well, by the way, it's just because it's just something I don't need at the minute. So the pitch quality gets a bit rubbish, then I apologise. But yeah. And I'll do my utmost not to flipping melt. 36 Celsius around here. 30... Right, Red Raven, I'm sat here bitching and moaning, right, over... Where are we? I'm trying to find a temperature for you. Over 19 degrees, but that's outside. In my defense, it's 32 degrees in this room. It's a box room, and I've got the PC throwing hot air at me as well. So, do you know what? Red Raven, you've made me feel better, mate, because it could be worse. It could be worse for me. It's as simple as that. So, yes, the space race thing doesn't have a wall of champions, so that's out of the question. Very true, Daniel. Very, very true. And that's all that matters. Lewis, it's 8 degrees here. See, I very much enjoy 10 degrees or below, and people always laugh at me and say I'm lying, but it's true. If I could live in my fridge, I would. I could live in my fridge. I'd need a big fridge, but, you know, you never know. American Star Fridge freeze, and I'll climb in it, and there you go. So, yeah, I think, unless I've seen anything, Piastri should be okay. Why am I not seeing Williams as an option for pole position, says Jamie? I know, there was a moment where I thought they might be in it on FP1. I thought maybe this is a good weekend for them, but apparently not. So, yes. Right, what I'll do is we'll get the track map up for you all. Then I'll go quiet for a minute while I have a quick drink and get ready for this one. And then... we can get ready for quali, because we are very much up for this one. It is Canada. We love Canada. Everyone does. Fan on medium. Le Mans, Sean, Sky competing for my action. The glass of mead to bring order to the chaos, says Fudd. Yes. It sounds good. It sounds good. I've never had mead, so I'm intrigued by that one. They're hiding their true potential, says Jamie, and I need minus temperatures, Alpha. Yeah, I keep looking at Norway. Norway's a cool place to live, I'd imagine. ST, Channel OG, ice skating. Just randomly, as you do. You know, why not? Thoughts on the stewards' comments as MD Games. Which stewards' comments? The David Warwick ones. Is it David Warwick? I didn't really have a massive view on it, but I think the Nico Rosberg made the point that they are basically contractually bound not to discuss drivers in the media when they are stewarding that weekend. So whilst I understand, maybe, and I know Martin Brundle's come out in his defence, I understand that, but ultimately, if them's the rules, them's the rules. You can't. I guess it's a bias thing. It's a fear of bias, isn't it? I mean, it's why Johnny Herbert ultimately lost his position on the stewards, because he was, well, let's say cheeky at times. He was a bit more than cheeky, wasn't he? But yeah, no, it's all fair. If the rules say they can't do that and they've gone around discussing things, then there you go. So Jamie says 32 degrees here in Florida. Send help. I'll just get a drink and then I'll be back with you, and then we'll do some more comments about the temperature where you are, and we'll all complain about the weather like the true Brits we all are, really. Kevin's here. Hey, Kevin. I thought I had it in my head that you're going to be at the race this weekend. Am I misremembering what you said last week? But said, okay, it's 23 degrees and sunny here in Toronto. Sorry, guys, the weekend is going to be perfect for the weather. It's all right. Canada's good, wet or dry. Apart from that year in, was it 2018, where Jonty and I had spent like months talking how much we couldn't wait for Canada, because it was our favourite race of the year, and then it sucked. I think Brendan Hartley and Lance Stroll crashed on the first lap, and that was about all that happened that race. So, yeah. Oh, look, an Aston shirt, Lance fans. Yeah, it is the Lance Stroll shirt as well, but it's very thick, or thicker than I thought, and it's quite warm, so I might yet change it for Ferrari on midstream, so we'll see how we go. We'll see how Ferrari are doing. If they're doing well, I'll do it just to jinx them, just to see what happens, but Nick's on Mars and it's minus 65 degrees, so there you go. I knew Nick wasn't from this planet. I always had my suspicions. I thought I saw something, but it's gone. It's gone now. So yeah, no, the Derek Warwick ones. He's as we are go for Q1. If he's told that he can't have those views and he can't express those views, even though I don't think he said anything massively controversial, did he? Or anything wrong. He's not supposed to, so there we go. We need to see Sean in the Lando bucket hat. I've got the Aston Martin beanie with the bobble on top. So that's a possibility for the winter. The Christmas special. Yeah, we are got cars queued in the pit lane. As suspected, we're going to get a mix of tyres here because we've seen a lot of the use of the C6. Because once again, teams seem to be struggling to really get it switched on. So we are looking now at I think Crofty was just dismissing his own comments there. So we were expecting to see some mediums today, and Gasly and Colapinto have gone out on a set of the C5 mediums. So C5, of course, although compounds have changed a bit, they are last year's soft tyre, so that's not a massive surprise in some ways, I suppose. But George Russell out there as well. So everyone going out, get their laps in. Traffic's going to be horrific in this first session. That is for sure. Yeah. Don't forget the Danny Rick drinking shoes, says Alfie. Do you know what? Mate, if you ever smelt my feet, you'd never want me to do that. I don't think you'd even wish me through that one. So, RC says, surely anything other than Ferrari or merch is weird. I ordered a Red Bull t-shirt. I think it was Kevin that said he'd never seen me in the comments. He'd never seen me in Red Bull merch. And I was like, challenge accepted. So I ordered it. It hasn't arrived yet. So I was going to wear that to make a point to Kevin. But no, didn't happen. So... I have to say, going to the race on the island in Montreal is great, says Kevin. Yeah, I mean, I want to move to Canada one day, so maybe I'll go to the Canadian Grand Prix every year if it stays. Maybe. Kimi Antonelli watching the replay as he leaves the garage in his Mercedes. Nearly caught a Racing Bulls there, but his engineer stopped him. Had to avoid impeding. No problem, he said. So there you go. Purple Heaven says, Ricardo not there anymore, so why do the disgusting shoey? Just sort of a random but also on topic point. The shoey wasn't Daniel Ricciardo's originally, was it? Didn't somebody do it in another sport before him and he took that on the podium and ran with it? Or is it the other way around? It might be. So I seem to recall somebody else did that in some other sport. Possibly the curling. They're quite rowdy, so maybe they were doing that in the curling, I don't know. 120.9 from Sainz, 131.7 from Albon. That suggests a couple of warm-up laps there for those guys before going for their hot laps. 245 of you here now. Thank you very much for spending your Saturday evening with me. Much appreciated. As always, please do drop a like and don't forget to subscribe if you're new. Lots to come this season. There's also got another meeting on Monday just to go over it all, but you'll be pleased to hear, many of you, that you're only going to be getting me on the channel but going forwards by the sounds of it. So there you go. That'll please a lot of people, I'd imagine. Maybe the occasional appearance for people as I have annual leave and things, but for the most part going to be me again. So back to basics, I think, which will please a lot of you, which means also you get a lot more waffle, and Sean's going to start upsetting people again as Yuki Tsunoda does a 113.287. Yeah. Someone else is super car series. It might have been Killjoy. I can't remember. I'm sure there was somebody else that did it, and he took it and ran with it, or it was the other way around. I can't remember. So RC says you get annual leave. I do. I get holiday now, RC. I still have to take them during summer break and the winter months, but you know, something I didn't get before. So it's always nice. I'm not going anywhere, I don't think, but house needs a good clean. Carpet shampooed and things. Very exciting. That's what you're here for. Talking about housework. Ollie Bearman getting it wrong at turn one. Bit of a twitch on turn in. Corrects it and then cuts across the chicane. rejoins, no problems there, and just says sorry on team radio. So cool down and go again. I'd imagine Lewis Hamilton at turn 1, a similar one, getting it wrong and then cutting the corner and then rejoining at turn 2 again. No problems there for him. Rejoin was fine. Off he goes. So another cool down and try again. Russell 12.5. Antonelli only 600ths behind. That's interesting on the medium tyre. So something to keep an eye on. I've got a feeling that might surprise us today again. We saw this in Imola, didn't we? As Bortoletto goes third in the 1:12.8, 0.3 off the fastest time there. So laps will come down. Track will keep ramping up. It is a track that is only really used on an F1 race weekend. So lap times, of course, deleted for Lewis Hamilton and for Ollie Bearman at turn 1. Lando Norris going through turn 3 and 4, where Leclerc had his crash on Friday, of course, missing the rest of Friday, didn't he? An FP2 after that crash. So another moment there for him. Through 7 for Norris, DRS Open. The McLaren's not looking quite as dominant as they have done in previous weekends, but at the same time, I'm still expecting a papaya car on pole. I'd be very, very surprised. Gingerfest says, if it gets back to just being you, I'm going to miss Elizabeth. Yeah. Doesn't mean she won't crop up from time to time. Like I say, when I take annual leave, I might need a hand. And I don't personally see the issue, but I also can see it from the side for people who say, we subscribed for you. That makes sense. And we did promise we wouldn't change much, and then we went and did that. So I can understand why people are a bit annoyed, but I thought Elizabeth added some really interesting insights and something a bit different to the channel too. Some knowledge of motorsport rather than just me moaning all the time about housework, the temperature, and occasionally talk about F1 cars. But there we go. But if you're a big fan of Elizabeth, by the way, do go check out her Deadly Passions, Terrible Joys podcast. She does that. There's some great stuff in there. History of F1. Some of the darker stories, as well as Piastri goes to quickest on the 12.3. So definitely go and check her out as well, because she does some great stuff. I enjoy the podcast, so. I think you know why, Nick. I think you know why they complained. I'll give you 3 guesses and I bet you get it on the first one. Fernando Alonso's gone purple in the first sector, so is this medium tyre, as I was theorising, potentially a better qualifying tyre? Because if Alonso, no disrespect to him and Aston Martin, especially my Aston Martin shirt, is doing that in the first sector, a couple of tenths up as well, he might not take the fastest time here, but he's going to be... I thought he'd hit the wall on the outside, and it was just the way it dips. Alonso, and Stroll's gone second, and actually Alonso ends up behind Lance Stroll. So Stroll's up there in second place right now. That's a bit of a surprise. So, and he's on the soft, so maybe it isn't the medium. I don't know. Intriguing. Jamie wants to stop the count. Seen enough. Absolutely agree. That'll do. Now that's the grid. Piastri, Stroll, Alonso, Russell, Antonelli will do. Leclerc goes second. That's a little bit better. Ferrari up there again. I expect to get excited about Ferrari here. Predict them for pole position, and then they crash in FP in Q3. Not literally, just terribly. So the C6. I was just going to say actually, Nick. I was sort of theorising that maybe the C5 will be the way to go, but then I looked at Stroll's time. Only 3,000ths, but still quicker than Alonso on the medium. So maybe today, contrary to what we've seen for much of the weekend, or much of the information we had across the weekend, maybe the C6 is now the better tyre. Track is 43.9 degrees. Air is 21.1 as well. So maybe a temperature thing in there. I don't know. But interesting. It might change by Q3 as the track rubbers in. It might be the other way around, but I quite like this, by the way. This whole the almost strategy element to qualifying, which ties me the best tyre to qualifying, rather than just being the soft. But also very much looking forward to the skip of the compound we're doing, which is Silverstone. They're skipping compounds, I think, or was it Austria? There's one coming up. Let me know in chat, but they're going to skip compounds, so we're not going to get you know, C1, C2, C3. We're going to get C1, C2, C4, for example. I can't remember what the numbers are exactly, but that could be interesting. It doesn't mean that they won't touch that softest tyre in the race. As Verstappen goes fastest on a 1:12.273. 10th place grid drop for Yuki Tsunoda confirmed. I will read the thing to you very, very quickly. I'd imagine that's going to be the same for Gabriel Bortoleto as well. If you weren't with us from the start, he was accused of overtaking under red flags in practice. He did do it. He's been found guilty of that. A drop of 10 grid positions for the next race in which the driver participates. That's tomorrow. And 2 penalty points added to his license, which is 2 in a 12-month period for Yuki. So Yuki's been very well behaved in that Red Bull, hasn't he? 2 points in total over 12 months. Maybe he can take some of his teammates off him. So yeah, he was done for overtaking under a red flag. I won't read that whole thing because we are watching qualifying. So Yuki Tsunoda, that's probably going to really set him back. Jokes aside, immediate early prediction based on how he's gone so far this weekend, that'll be a pit lane start tomorrow with setup changes, almost certainly. So there we go. I don't know why those decisions are coming through midway through qualifying. That feels like it could have been announced 10 minutes ago, but never mind. Welcome to Formula One, I suppose. Alonso 1:12.2 on those medium tyres. So is it the same set of mediums as well? Let's have a look. It is 5 laps on those, so maybe multiple laps on these mediums might be the way to go as Yuki Tsunoda goes up to 9th place. Somebody else had no further action for their overtaking, which I think was Bortoleto, wasn't it? I'll keep an eye on it. I'm sure Sky just said somebody just got off with no penalty, no further action. So I'll keep an eye out for that on Bortoleto. We'll check it after the session. We'll actually pay attention to the session and then we'll worry about that. So, yeah. 10th place grid drop for Tsunoda, which right now, if qualifying ended now, which it won't, but if it did, that would be 19th on the grid. But I'd be surprised if he doesn't just start in the pit lane, avoid the first corner chaos, which often hits in something's. Oh, there's bodywork hanging off. That'll be a red flag. That will be a red flag. I'll get ready to press the button. This is exciting. Are you ready? This is so dramatic. It might virtual safety car it, but this whole engine cover on the right side, if you look at the left side for him. Oh, quick, snap it, XPB. Get some photos, quick. Let's have a look. So his engine cover ripped off, just bang, straight off all over the road. And then obviously Albon doesn't know at that point. He'll have seen something, but maybe won't understand how bad it is. But he doesn't pit. He goes straight round again to carry on. So it is a red flag as expected. I got to press the button. Woo! We go red now. So there we go. That is bizarre. Bought his Doc 29. Thank you, Ford. Appreciate that, mate. Yeah, just wait for it. Yeah. Still wait. Decision. There we go. Thank you, mate. I couldn't see that one. No further action. Bortoleto on the back straight, travelling at speeds of 325. Red flag was deployed. 87, that's Bearman. We're travelling slowly on the right-hand side of the track. So let me show that within 0.6 seconds, the car 5 slightly sighting the first red flag light panel. He lifted off the throttle and applied firm braking. So basically, he caught... Yeah, he said he couldn't safely reduce speed, which was, I think, the argument that Bearman tried to use last week, but didn't work, did it? So Bortoleto essentially couldn't get slowed down safely in time to stop him passing a much slower car. So no further action for him, but 10 places for Yuki of the Tsunoda. So yes, red flag, if you're just tuning in, very exciting. Alex Albon's engine cover just decided it didn't want to be part of the car anymore. They've fallen out and it's all over the track. So I didn't like the way it sort of the helicopter shot was showing this lump in the middle of the track. I was like, oh no, who's hit Gary? Who's hit Gary the groundhog? And it wasn't. It was just the engine cover. So there we go. Are they groundhogs? Now paranoid because Kevin says marmots. Are they marmots or groundhogs around the circuits? You'll get shouted at by angry Canadians now, led by Kevin with pitchforks. They're massive squirrels. What you're talking about? But yeah, I don't know. Old-fashioned 90s failure. Remember race engine cover falling off at Hockenheim in '94, says Nick. I don't remember that. random point now, I saw a picture the other day on social media. I think it was one of those back in the days F1 photo websites kind of things, or social media accounts, and it was Hockenheim 97, I believe, and Giancarlo Fisichella hitching a lift on the back of Michael Schumacher's Ferrari, if I recall correctly. So Alex Albon has been noted, by the way, for failing to follow the race director's instructions, escape road instructions. Now that's those ones, isn't it, where if your car is damaged, you're supposed to pull over. So he might get a ticking off for that. I'm leaving the poll open till just for Q3, Red Raven. Give everyone a chance to vote, because I don't think anyone's expecting Alonso on poll, so we should be okay. So, yeah. There are marmots on the island, says Kevin. Interesting. Yeah, exactly. You learn something if you don't ask. If you don't ask, you don't get. I'm not entirely sure I care. They're awesome, and I think it's great they want to get involved in the racing, but I really do wish they would just, go on holiday for the weekend. It's, every now and again there's a cringe, isn't there? But yeah, no, there you go. Dr. Anishi says that I've been watching 40 years and I still learn stuff daily. Yeah, I mean, I'm a few years behind you, mate. I'm 30. Is it 33rd year this year? I've been watching, and I've always called them groundhogs. So there we go. Yeah, just been told that. That's why he carried on. He didn't realise it was from him, pretty much. So that is a lot of bodywork, isn't it? Take a little bit of time. So that, I haven't really checked the race director's notes, because I don't tend to read them anymore, because I usually just copy and paste. So there you go. That's the phrase I was after. If you have damage to your car, you're obliged to pull over. That's what Crofty's just said. So that was the phrase I was looking for. So we are green, and we're going in 4 minutes for FP. Not FP. It's not practice show. You don't do practice watch-alongs yet. It's a qualifying watch-along. So Q1 we're going for. So 4 minutes away, 3 minutes away now. So there we go. Just need some flex. So yeah, get the Gorilla Glue out. It's all good. It's all good. We have groundhogs and beavers too. Lots of beavers, says Kevin. There you go. FPQ1, that'll do. It's technically practice, isn't it? Hey, April. I hope you're well. Good to see you again. Having a good Saturday. And don't call it duct tape either, by the way. Make sure you call it speed tape, because there are, believe it or not, there are duct tape police. The tape police, they will come and tell you off for saying it's speed tape, it's not duct tape, even though it looks exactly the same. But it's fine. Tape is tape. It's not sellotape. Maybe it is, I don't know. Wrap it up like a Christmas present. But yeah, there might be some trouble here for Alex Albon. You are supposed to stop and not throw debris everywhere. Apex VR says, I wish I could just skip to Q3. It does. I have to say, I think this is the best qualifying format we've had in Formula One, because there is action all the time. But you do sort of get halfway through and you're kind of like, oh, can we just get to pole position now, please? Because some of it, particularly early phases of Q1, it's very much sort of people just getting their sight laps in, and you're like, oh, God's sake. But then it starts to come alive more and more as the session goes on, I suppose. So it does that. It does build, but I get the feeling. I do kind of miss the old format that I grew up with, which was the 12 laps, 1 hour, get on with it. But then you'd have the first 20-25 minutes, everyone would just sit in a garage and wait for the best track conditions, and then they'll go out together and get in each other's way. It's the same tape my nan used on Christmas presents, said Alfie Alf. Yeah, my nan wasn't the best at wrapping presents, but my grandma would make sure you couldn't get into it. You know, you always felt when my grandma did Christmas presents, you always felt like you got more because it took you forever to get into them because they were so well taped up. We're talking about Christmas and it's June. Anything else? What else haven't we tackled? Too hot. Moaning about the weather. Not sure I like this t-shirt. Not sure I like the colour either, which is annoying me as well. We talked about Le Mans. We've talked about Christmas. What are you doing for Easter next year? There you go. We'll get onto that one in a bit. I prefer a 30-car qualifying session, says Nick. Yeah, I can imagine Monaco being chaotic. I tell you, if we had like a 20, we've got Cadillac coming in next year. Let's say we do get to the 24 car grid. I think we'd be at the point where we probably have to start looking at splitting quali into 2 sessions. Oh yes, the tea. I have to mention about tea. We've got a box of tea bags and most of them seem to be split, and that's a fact. And it's really gross when you get your morning cup of tea and you go out of the mouthful and you immediately go blah, spit it straight back out again. Yeah, that's fun, isn't it? First thing in the morning. Split tea bags. We are going though. Here we go. Red light is still on, but we are about to get going. There's people going, thank God for that. This guy can talk. Oh, this guy can talk. Which takes me back to one of my favourite comments of all time. We're green again. I was doing a live stream and it was a comment a couple of years back now, and someone tried to insult me, just went, you talk too much. And I'm just like, well, what do you want me to do? Sit in silence? Kind of pointless being live. I might as well not bother. Of course I talk too much. I'm one man and I've got to fill 2 hours of live stream. I can't sit in silence. Christ. Although I was silent for quite a while last time in Spain when I was trying to work out why they went hard tyres on the Red Bull. I didn't realise how long I was quiet until I tried to find some shorts out of that. I was like, Christ, did I go quiet? Best part of the stream, silence. There's a baby with big headphones on in the crowd, says Kevin. I will keep an eye out. Unless you mean like somebody acting like a baby, I don't know. Mick Schumacher's 12th in Le Mans right now. I might fall asleep with Le Mans on TV tonight. I'll do that, Nick. Actually, Nick, if you're watching that, mate, how's Stoff getting on and his team? I mean, of course, I imagine winning. Of course, he's winning in his Peugeot. Is he 94? Is he car 94 this year? Amalia says I missed it. Why was the session stop momentarily? So Alex Albon, the left-hand side of his engine cover just ripped itself off halfway down the back straight. So debris went all over the track. They had to clear that one up, so it was a red flag. So no one's crashed, but there was quite a lot of mess to clean up. So we had a brief stoppage there, but yeah, everyone's all good. Everyone's still going. For anyone just tuning in, Yuki Tsunoda 10-place grid drop for a red flag infringement in practice, and Albon might face some trouble for that because you're supposed to pull over when you've got a damaged car, but he didn't. So. Albon, yeah. Albon took his shirt off. That's why it was a red flag. Yeah, he just got naked. There you go. On track, he's carded. Here goes Lando Norris then. 10th and a half up on Fernando Alonso. So, yes. Can we get picture? I think there's a picture on. I can pause it for you for a little bit if you like, Apex. There's a picture on screen now of the Haas delivery from 2016. A Haas delivery, I think, looks better on the 2025 car than it did the 2016 car, which was a bit surprising when I saw it. I quite like it. I'm kind of hoping they stick with it, to be honest. I think it looks nice. Who we got on laps then? So Gasly purple in the first sector. Norris is purple in the middle sector now. Lewis Hamilton 20 flat, not too far actually off the pace of Norris. Hamilton tends to go well here, doesn't he? As Piastri goes fastest on a 1:11.9. We've got 2 minutes and 40 seconds to go now. So there you go. Norris a 1:11.826, a 10th quicker than his teammate. Albon heads back out on track. No further investigation for the Albon escape row thing, so should be okay then. Obviously happy that no more debris was thrown around as he went around the track there, so there we go. I think that's more for if your wheels hanging off, isn't it? Thinking back, was it all rear wing like Perez, was it last year? Did that, didn't he? And that's where that kind of came in, so... Alonso's gone 4th on a 1:12.073. I tell you what, it's not bad from Fernando here. What's Lance Stroll going to do? Colapinto goes 6th on a 1:12.2. This is quite close, you know, and we could get a few surprises here. Or, in a minute and a half's time just over, I'll look a fool and it'll be exactly what we expected. But there are quite a few lighting up the time screens here in green. So we might see a surprise or two. Who's in danger at the minute? Bortoletto, Sainz, Albon, Bearman and Hulkenberg down there. So Hadjar, so far, very early days, but Rookie of the Year. I say early days. This is the 10th race weekend of the year. 10th already. Track slippery in track sector 7. The FIA say on the official feed, by the way, is now clear. So maybe something wandering across the track there. Here comes Hadjar at the final corner. Down the straight he goes, a minute to go. DRS but this will be his last shot, really. Hadjar goes 5th fastest on a 1:12.211. I didn't see the cutoff. I was too busy talking about marmots and beavers and tea. So I didn't catch the cutoff. But Tsunoda only goes 9th. But then Verstappen's only... They're all dropping in as Russell goes 5th. Verstappen's only 9th at the moment. Tsunoda 10th. Verstappen isn't... Is Verstappen just starting a lap? He's not. He is just starting a lap. I was going to say, he's not improving at the moment. So this must be him starting a lap. Russell had the purple middle sector, by the way. Here goes Bearman. Everybody improving on these final runs now. Oh. Bit twitchy on the entry there for Bearman. I thought he was going to be in the wall there. Just expected it. I heard Martin Brundle go, oh. Which tends to be somebody's going straight to the scene of the accident, steal his phrase. Over the line goes Nico Hulkenberg into 12th. Ocon, what's he going to do? Only 14th. We might have a Sauber in QT for Pascal here. Here goes Alex Albon out the final corner. Having lost half his car, he's had it fixed and he's gone back out again. He goes 6th, does Alex Albon. That's a bit of a surprise. 1:12.0. That's dropped Stroll into drop. I think Stroll's out because he's not really improving at the moment. Could come good. Oh, there's dust lock up. Something's going on out there. Somebody's dragging a load of dust down the straight. I don't know what's going on there. But Fernando Alonso. Leclerc goes 4th on a 12.0. Did somebody catch the grass on the exit of the final corner, maybe? Alonso's slow, so not improving. Max Verstappen could do with getting a lap in, just in case, but he should be okay there. Others aren't improving by enough to concern him. It looks like we've lost Bortoletto, Sainz, Stroll, Lawson and Gasly as Verstappen goes 5th. And that is that for Q1, I believe. I'm just checking the timing screens now. I got a bit confused then. I saw the dust. I was trying to work out who was in the gravel, but it wasn't. It was the start-finish straight, so they couldn't have been. So I lost track there. But Norris fastest, Piastri 2nd, Hamilton 3rd, Leclerc 4th, Verstappen 5th, Alonso 6th, Russell 7th, Albon 8th, Hadjar 9th, Colapinto 10th, 11th for Antonelli, 12th for Bearman, 13th Hulkenberg, 14th Tsunoda, 15th Ocon, 16th Bortoletto, 17th Sainz, Stroll 18th, 19th for Lawson, 20th for Gasly. Sainz impeded here by Hadjar. Oh, yes, that'll be a penalty. Massive impeding, massive is what Carlos Sainz said. That was a great accent, I have to say. That's impeding. That'll be a 3 grid drop for. Isack Hadjar thought Sainz had aborted, but Sainz was definitely on a hot lap, and that's actually taken Sainz out of qualifying. And Hadjar's through, so I'd be surprised if that's not 3 places, unless the FIA have some telemetry or whatever, but I'd be surprised. If Sainz on a push lap and Hadjar wasn't, that's a penalty. Sainz looked like he was on a hot lap. So, there you go. But good stuff for Colapinto. Gasly only 20th, Colapinto 10th. So, a bit of an up and down weekend for Franco, actually. A couple of spins. He got 3 spins, I think, at turn 1. Might be 2, could be 3. It's a bit up and down for Franco so far. The Lance Stroll shirt didn't work. He's 18th, so that was a waste of time. Maybe he needs to change the Ferrari one now. Yeah. No great surprise. I suppose Sainz is a surprise with Albon up there in 8th. I suppose you could say Gasly actually with Colapinto 10th. But there was a point in that session where I wonder if we might lose a big one, but we didn't. So Tsunoda through, though. That's a big deal for him. So Lawson... It's funny, actually. Sema says Liam is nowhere again. Liam Lawson has not been himself since he got back in that car, as he had dropped from Red Bull at all. I'm not going to sit here and pretend he was epic at Racing Bulls or whatever they were called last year, but he was decent. He did an all right job. And then this year, got the chance at Red Bull, didn't work, got demoted and struggled. And this I said this a few years ago, I think, when Red Bull were last chopping through drivers at every opportunity. It can go either way, can't it? A driver gets demoted and it can absolutely be the end of it for them and they don't recover. It's a kick in the gut and they can't cope with it. But then others like Pierre Gasly, for example, go away. Alex Albon's another one. They get dropped, but they go away. They get their head together and they sort of come out and maybe not in these words, and maybe they've never said these words, but maybe they want to get out there and prove people wrong, or they want to say, look, I am still a good driver. So it can go either way, and it looks like Lawson's really struggling at the minute. And we can't say the car's bad, because the car isn't bad. So people keep telling me the Racing Bulls is better than the Red Bull. I think the Racing Bulls is better than the second Red Bull. It's not better than the Red Bull in Max Verstappen's hands, but what would he do in a Racing Bulls? Imagine that. A title in what was, once upon a time, a Minardi. You never know. What happened? Stroll was looking pretty good for the first run, says J Webb. He was. I'm quite surprised to see him down there, so I'm wondering if we might get a replay. He did give the medium tyres a go again, but it can't have been that much of an issue because Alonso was on the mediums as well, but then Alonso is a phenomenal talent, so maybe there's that to account for it. Not to be awful to Lance Stroll, but let's face it. It's not being rude. Fernando Alonso is just a phenomenal talent. End of. Double world champion. But, yeah, it's just an odd one. I'm not quite sure what's happened there. So maybe the mediums didn't work for him, but they did for Fernando. It can happen. Maybe Stroll should have gone for the soft because he was, like you're right, he was quite rapid at one point, wasn't he? So we might get some replays now. Lawson has no idea what the hell just happened. Nearly broke into our Eurovision song then. Glad I didn't. Says, look at that impeding, says Sights. It's incredible. So he's not happy as Carlos, understandably. Lance Stroll, back this weekend. I'm never speaking out of turn here. Please tell me if I am and you think I'm looking at things wrong. But I can't help but feel that it's this Colapinto's asleep in his car. No, why not? I'm a kit mate. Good thinking. I look at Lance Stroll this weekend and he's back and that's great for him and etc. etc. But he looks like he'd just rather be anywhere but there for some reason. As if he has got quite a... He does appear quite grumpy, doesn't he? His demeanour sometimes, or quite often, and maybe we read him wrong. We don't know him, do we, really? We know what we see on TV and that's it. But it just looks like he'd rather be anywhere but racing this weekend, which I'm sure isn't the case, but he doesn't like he's very happy to be at his home Grand Prix. Unless I might be looking at the wrong photos and the wrong stuff on TV, but yeah. Stroll's fine as a driver. I'll always say it. Geography 2.0 says Stroll used to be decent. He's always been fine as a driver. He got himself into F1. So, you know, you can have all the money in the world, but you've still got to have some sort of pedigree to get into F1. I could be a billionaire. I won't fit in one of these cars, let alone get a seat. So he's achieved things in his career. He's done some good stuff in F1, but as a lot of people pointed out in that Stroll video a few weeks ago, we're looking at nearly a decade in F1. What progress has he made? And you could argue he's made some in some areas, but one area he still struggles with is qualifying. I've always said it. His weakness is qualifying. If he sorted that out, I think he'd do a lot better. But I guess that's an obvious statement. You start higher up the grid, you've got a better chance of points, haven't you? But there you go. Oh, no, I don't think he's mean. He just looks a bit... Always looks a bit grumpy, but then if I had £1 for every time said smile mate, it might never happen at me, then I'd probably have about £3. But it's we don't all walk around smiling, do we? Let's we'll set the slides off again, by the way. I did pause that Haas livery there for a little while, but yeah. Hulkenberg first win, we can only wish. I'll say it again. I say it every time Hulkenberg comes up, we talk about wins and podiums. I'd love Hulkenberg to get lots of wins and lots of podiums. But if he only ever gets one podium, I want it to be with a win. I'd love him to be one of those all or nothing drivers. It'd be fantastic. Nico Hulkenberg had one podium in his F1 career, and that was a win. That'd be quite a story. So, yeah, Lance will be team boss soon, says Kevin. Maybe that's the goal. We're looking at Ben Stiller. There you go, chat. Favourite Ben Stiller film? Let me know in chat. And I need to think of... I mean, I love Zoolander. Bloody love Zoolander. There's an F1 movie out? Why didn't somebody say something? Alert the church elders. Yeah, Zoolander's cracking. Love Zoolander. I like him in Happy Gilmore as well, actually. I think he plays that well. And I think his cameo in Friends is quite funny too. I like Ben Stiller. Now took with a bit of Ben Stiller. Here comes Max Verstappen, and he's the first one to do a lap in Q2, or FPQ2, on the medium tyres. Yes, Spicy D. Dodgeball's a great film, Harry. Good shout. Good shout. I'm going to watch Dodgeball this evening now. Or tomorrow. I might watch it tomorrow morning, actually. Because my days are backwards this weekend, but they've been an evening race, so... So obviously purple for Max Verstappen in the first sector. First one to do a lap on these, as he's on the mediums. Only one on the mediums. Everyone else on the softs. Norris on used. Hamilton, Leclerc, Albon, Colapinto, Bearman, Ocon, all on used tyres. So there we go. Yeah, so I got excited. I saw purple. I was like, oh, here goes Max. Again, he's the first one to do a lap, so he will be. But he's quicker than the McLarens, you know, on this first run. So I just keep an eye on this. Because I can't work out these medium tyres. It's really strange. So purple in the middle for Piastri. But only marginally quicker. There you go. Yeah, it's a 1:11.6 for Verstappen. That's a cracking lap. Here comes Norris. Not going to beat him. 1:11.6. Only 38 thousandths off, though. So not far off. Here comes Piastri then out the final corner on the soft tyres. So the medium might not be the outright fastest tyre, but it is holding up well. And there you go. Piastri third on 11.7. Interesting. Interesting. Sorry, I'm trying to work out this tyre. Any suggestions in chat? Let me know. Would love to discuss it with you. Yeah. Because I can't work this out. Because I was wondering if it held up better in the first sector and then fell away, or whether the soft was better of a whole lap. I couldn't really work it out. But yeah, here comes Leclerc. Little toe off the Haas. Not a massive one, because the Haas was backing out of it. So, but every little helps. Every little helps. Over the line goes Charles Leclerc. Track surface slippery in sector 7 again. Fourth, 11.9 for Leclerc. Whoever made that Ferrari movie forgot where Ferrari started from, says Summer Dragon. Wasn't impressed at all. I still haven't seen it. No, I can't find it. I can find a Sky documentary. Is that the same thing? Like a Sky documentary movie type thing. I'm watching Final Destination Bloodlines on Tuesday. I've pre-ordered that because I love Final Destination. Little insights as Albon goes across line 1:12.918. It is strange that the medium is faster in the first sector. This is what I can't understand, John. I don't get it. I do not get it. I can't work it out. Because it seemed to get some good speed after it had been run for a couple of laps. So I wondered if it was one of those that needed a couple of laps to get going. But then Max has done that on one lap. It is Max Verstappen, but he still did it on one lap. So maybe that wasn't the case. Alonso on the soft goes at 6th on a 1:12.036. Oh, the Michael Mann one. I will find the I will try to remember that. Michael Mann. Thank you, Nick. I love that. Then Nick comes back tomorrow. Did you find it? Oh, I forgot. Brain like a sieve, mate. Memory like a sieve, rather. I thought Tsunoda was spinning then. It was a camera angle. What's he going to do, Yuki? He is going to get a 10-place grid drop, don't forget. So whatever he does, it's that plus 10. So unless he gets pole, he's probably going to be towards the back end. So maybe a pit lane start. We'll see. Only 3/10 down of Verstappen, but that is in the first sector alone. So, yeah. I mean, that car just isn't working. It's his 100th race this weekend, Yuki Tsunoda. Much like I said about Haas and 200 races in the preview. Where has that time gone? No idea. Now he's 5 tenths up on Albon, by the way, which is the time he needs to get out of Q2. But very, very odd. Track slippery in sector 10. Now green. I'm assuming that's just wildlife heading out on the track and drivers and teams being warned just in case. Here's Yuki then. Over the line he goes. 7th place, 1:12.3, 7/10 off his teammate. Yeah. If he gets Q3, I think he'd be very happy, even though he's going to take that penalty. But let's see. Hadjar probably going to get a 3-place grid drop. We'll see what the stewards decide. A lot of people in chat agree that looks like a slam dunk. So soon Sean will be selling "Where is Yuki Now" t-shirts. Yeah. So Ocon's been noted for failing to follow the race director's instructions. I don't know what that is. Turn 12. So where's turn 12? What's turn 12 going to be? Turn 12? Turn 12 is barely a turn. I wonder what that is. Driving too slowly? I don't know. Needs a sub-safe to 12 to be safe, says Jamie. 12.2 might be fine, but we're going to be close. Yeah. Antonelli 8th, 1:12.106. Maybe he didn't stick far right on a slow lap. Maybe, yeah, that's a good point. Or even driving too slowly. Was he driving too slowly, perhaps? I don't know. This is... keep an eye out for that one. They might not do anything, but it's only been noted. Franco Colapinto replay. Seems to be having a better weekend. Probably going to hit the wall now I've said that. And very nearly does hit the wall. Big slide on the exit at the final corner. Oh, bit of drifting. I tell you what, you don't go fast like that. You lose time, but it does look good, doesn't it? A good drift like that at the final corner. Alpines, if anyone cares, probably the livery that's grown on me the most since that stupid launch thing. F1 Eurovision or whatever we're calling it from February, which I think many of you will be really, really disappointed to hear isn't going to be happening next year. They've already confirmed that, so let's have a moment just to take a second to get over that terrible news. Hamilton up to 4th place at 1:11.885. The stream was fun, to be fair. That one on Ocon will be investigated after the session, so yeah, insert the Jeremy Clarkson. Oh no! Anyway. They're talking to Carl. I think they just said, "What do you think about the impeding to Carlos Sainz?" I think he probably thinks it's impeding. Probably, perhaps, maybe. 6 minutes to go in this session. Plenty of time yet for these times to tumble, I guess. But I mean, 1:11.6 is quite a nice time. So. What was who said that? It was Jamie. Says 12.2 maybe be fine, but close. 12.2. So 12.2 would be sort of Antonelli down. I know he's a 12.1, but Yuki's a 12.3. So I think anybody, to me, Hamilton down, probably... Leclerc down needs to go again, I would say. Hamilton down probably needs to go again, but that'll trigger Piastri, which will trigger Norris. I think they'll all go out again. They've been burning through the soft tyres all weekend, so they're obviously saving the hards for tomorrow and the mediums a bit as well. So see how many they've got left, but yeah. Leclerc, purple in the middle sector, goes fastest on 1:11.626, 12 hundredths off the... Sorry, 12 thousandths off the... quicker than Verstappen, but that's on the soft tyre. That's what I was trying to say there. I was trying to say hundredths and softs all in the same sentence. It didn't work. Alex Albon down a long back straight. Probably the straight I know best from the F1 game, because I always use my flashbacks down there because I try to go too hot into the chicane every time. So I just keep flashing back halfway down there. But anyway, or rewinds or whatever they're called now. Flashbacks was fine. Albon 7th at 1:11.963. Round of applause from Williams there. Good lap. 1:11.9 might be okay, Jamie. That might be all right for Albon. Colapinto on track. Plenty of time here, but nobody sees any mad rush, which I guess is because there's plenty of time. But Colapinto is about to start his lap just as everyone's exiting the pit lane. So he comes through the final chicane. Here we go. They are all going again. I thought they would. fact, Verstappen's already out there, ready for this one. So traffic's going to be a pain here, isn't it? Actually, Colapinto just ahead of Alonso exiting the pits there. So he's got Ocon and Bearman ahead of him. He will come across them if they're on outlaps. But that's a Mercedes overtaking a Red Bull in the pits there. That'll be Russell on Tsunoda. 8 thousandths up on a time to get through is Colapinto. Geography 2.0 says no one is out of range today, I'd say. Yeah, the track's really evolving, isn't it? Quite nicely here. We've got quite a few out on mediums now, though. So is that the best quality? I can't work this out. Let's fight. We're going to find out together live, and we can all sit and laugh when we were wrong trying to work out these tyres. Get a drink in a second as well before we get into the Q3 session. Be nice to see Colapinto have a good weekend. A lot of speculation about his future and talk of Perez, which apparently is a bit wide of the mark, maybe coming in this season, but he's going to Cadillac next year by the sounds of it, so maybe not. But hopefully Colapinto has a good one as he gets the fastest. Was that a yellow flag? Did he touch the wall? He's kicking up the dust again. Oh, 10th place. He's not. He's going to struggle to hang on to that, I think, Collar, but that's not bad. They're questioning whether Russell should have overtaken on the pit exit, but I think they're allowed to. It's a projected knockout time. Mr. Jamie Santos, 112 flat. So you were right, mate. You called it. You absolutely called it. So well done there. So Verstappen, yeah, 11.6, 11.6 for Norris, 11.7 for Piastri. I mean, he's got time to do another lap, Nick, but where is he? He's up at the hairpin at the moment. Verstappen lap time 15.9, deleted for track limits. I don't think he'll mind losing a 15.9 given that he's got 11.6. So all good. Tsunoda's improving, so that's good news for him here. We'll keep an eye on what he's doing as he comes up towards the hairpin. Well, I mean, Colapinto, he's going to get round again. He's in the queue on the back straight, so he can go again if he's got charged up, so that's good. This is a good test. This is a good test. We'll find out if this is better on a second lap as Russell, out of nowhere, goes 11.5 on the medium. I can't work it out, man. I can't do it. It's just not happening. My brain will not work this out. Tsunoda on the softs, Antonelli on the mediums as well. Tsunoda to the line, only 9th. Does not Colapinto out, knocks Antonelli down a position as well. Antonelli's improving. What's Colapinto do? I'll keep an eye on him. Oh, twitchy our final couple of corners from Antonelli. Over the line he goes. It's 8th for him. Alonso drops to 9th. Tsunoda down to 10th. Oh, where's George come from? As Norris goes fast, second fastest on 11.5. That's on the soft tyre. Traffic for Hadjar, but he's just picked his way through it. Hopefully he's all right there. He is marginally down on Yuki Tsunoda. I feel like the soft is still the way to go if they can, surely, in Q3. Colapinto not improving. Hadjar is. Ocon is. Hulkenberg is. Alonso is. First one to take the line is Ocon. Hadjar goes 9th. So Alonso could do this. Hulkenberg could do with it as well. Alonso to the line. Goes 6th fastest on the medium tyre. 2/10 off the fastest time. Good stuff from old Fernando there. And Nico Hulkenberg is improving. What can he do? It's a 1:12.0 to beat. Nico Hulkenberg to the line. Not quite 2/10, but not bad at all for him. And that's that. There's a Hadjar does get through. Don't forget a penalty potentially looming over Isack Hadjar. Tsunoda is... So this is Russell overtaking Yuki on pit exit. Yeah, Russell, that's the penalty, man, is what Tsunoda says. I think you can pass on pit exit, can't you? I don't know. How weird. Oh, nearly contact with the with the Red Bull. What? My God, I'm gonna not speak, is what Leclerc says. I'm gonna not speak. Was it? So Tsunoda, it was Tsunoda. What's he doing that for? That's bizarre. Try to get a toe off Verstappen, because why not? But that will put Tsunoda 21st on the grid, and we only have 20 places. So I'd be surprised if Red Bull don't decide to bring him in, make changes to the part firmware, give him a much more raceable car, and then he'll start from the pit lane tomorrow. If you're just tuning in, by the way, 630 of you here. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please do drop a like, and don't forget to subscribe as well if you are new. Lots to come this season. Both of them free. Likes really helping the algorithm. They don't cost you anything. They don't really make me anything, but it is always nice to get a bit of a boost in the algorithm. Also, if you weren't here earlier, apologies for the slightly dimmer lighting, so camera quality might be a bit worse, which for some people might think it looks a bit better because they see less of me, which is good. It's a bit hot, and if there's a lot of background noise, more than usual, it's just the fan that I've got. I need to have it on because it's just a bit too warm. I usually don't bother, but I have had it on today, so apologies, a bit more background noise than usual. It's all good. It's all good. It'll be the winter soon enough, and we're moaning it's cold. There you go. So, yeah. Also, if you're just tuning in, the Lance Stroll shirt didn't work. He's still got not in Q1. So I'll switch back to Ferrari for tomorrow, I think. Ferrari keeping the medium for Q3, says Dan the Man. Good point. Craig says way better lighting. Yeah, should turn them off. Turn them off, Craig. I think Craig, hang on. That's probably better lighting for you, Craig. There you go, mate. It's perfect lighting. No need to see me. There you go. I could have got a drink there while I turned that off, but anyway, I just thought I'd make a stupid joke for no reason. I was going to say something, it's just gone out of my head. I will get a drink, actually. Give me 30 seconds while I just get a drink, and then we'll be ready to go for Q3. But just a reminder, Tsunoda, Colapinto, Hulkenberg, Bearman, Ocon, Bortoletto, Sainz, Stroll, Lawson and Gasly all out so far. I'll end the poll as well before we get into Q3. So get your predictions in as well. What your top three are, who's going to get pole position, etc, etc, etc. Which team is taking pole position today? 56% of you said McLaren, 18% went with Ferrari, 16% went Red Bull, only 8% saying Mercedes. Interesting. Let's see how we go. Apparently it was 20 seconds, so that means I'm owed 10 seconds. Oh, that's what I was going to tell you as well. I had a look. This is more for Annette if she pops along later and catches this. Or tomorrow, just to let you all know. I did have a little look around on YouTube, and I found that I can disable midstream ads when we're live, so I have done that. So I didn't realise you could. I thought they were just automatic, so I've disabled them. So you'll probably get a live if you click on this as a VOD, ad if you click on this as a VOD later, but while we're live, there won't be any ads midstream, so that's been sorted. I didn't realise it was a setting. I've been doing this nearly 8 years, and I'm still learning. In fact, actually... Do you know what, actually? That's a good point. Let me just check something very, very quickly and very randomly. Sorry, I really should do this on my live, but I've got to just check this. First video on the channel was the 26th of June, 2017. So we're nearly at the 8-year anniversary of the channel. Wow, that is... Cool, blimey. That's quite a... Where's that time gone? I still remember ranting about the Halo. I was wrong, as I proved in a later video when I went back and said that and was like, yeah, make less money, Nick, but you know, super chats, you know, you could. I don't ask for much, mate. If you just send me $5 a stream, it's all good, mate. I'm sure you can stretch to that. It's all fine. Clancy says, watching from the start as I missed this. Try not to watch chat as I type all the best. So, Clanson won't hear this for about another hour and 25 minutes. I hope you're all right, mate, and having a good one. So, yeah, Yeah, I know, but people can do super chats, and I'll put the mid-rolls in later. But I think it's difficult because for live sport, having mid-rolls on, because YouTube doesn't always catch up either, does it? So you might end up behind me, even further behind or whatever, and I don't like doing that. So I'm good. Essentially what I've done is I've turned them off, and then what I'll do is after this weekend I'll have a look at the numbers, and if it's a significant drop off, I may have to put them back on again. But it'll be an interesting test. So there you go. Ads are on, but the mid rolls are off. So we'll see how we go. Like I say, interesting test. I like to test things out. See how we go. How are grid penalties applied? Would Yuki move up to 9th and then down to 19th? Oh, God, Louis. I don't know, mate. I gave up trying to work that out years ago. Well, Yuki got his first, didn't he? So his would be applied. So he dropped to 21st, effectively, but 20th, of course. Then Hadjar would get his, wouldn't he? If he gets to 3 places, I would assume. They announced some more of the possible candidates for Cadillac yesterday. Says Geography 2.0. I've not seen that. Let me know, mate, who they are. I'd be interested. I last I checked with Bottas, Perez, Mika Hakkinen. No, not really. There are a few that I've seen linked. Alex Palou have been linked as well. So let me know who they are. I'm not quite sure. So all grid penalties apply simultaneously, then they smudge it back together. Says Fud. Abdur says shout outs. There you go. You got yourself a shout out, mate. And Kathy says, since Verstappen has been throwing fits and ramming cars, he's my hero. I love him now. I never liked Russell, and he hit me crap. F1 has very little excitement with all the rules. We are go for Q3, by the way, just starting. I have a controversial take on this, Kathy. I would rather have a grid full of Verstappens and a grid full of some of the I'll not use the phrase that I used the other day, because it's not meant to be insulting, but it's the only word I could use to describe them. But I'd rather have a grid full of Verstappens and you Schumachers and you Sennas who got their elbows out and pushed it to the limit. I think, you don't have to go over the limit, but we still talk about Senna and Schumacher. We don't talk an awful lot about Jaime Al-Jaswari. I mean, I do. Criminally underrated he was, and an epic DJ as well. I couldn't think of an example, but yeah. Characters. Yes, that'll do, Red Raven. Yeah, I'd rather have a grid full of Verstappen than some of these other characters. Although George Russell's moaning, I can't tolerate. Does my head in. But I don't think there's a driver I really ultimately dislike on the grid. I don't know them well enough to dislike them. So there you go. I don't know them at all for the most part. Perez, Bottas, Zhou and Drugovich are the 4 possibilities for Cadillac. Apparently Drugovich would be a good shout, Perez and Drugovich would be a good shout. You've got Drugovich is Brazilian, isn't he? Felipe Drugovich. So you'd have Mexico and Brazil. China market as well for Zhou will be really good for Cadillac. And Bottas for experience. I think they're good picks, all 4 of them, to be honest, for their own reasons. Here we go then. Leclerc. Mick Schumacher apparently being considered as well, says Emma Rose. So I feel like Mick's going to be that driver that always gets links to seats until he retires from motorsport, to be honest. He just seems to be linked to everything, doesn't he? So, yeah. Maybe he'll get a chance again one day. But he seems to be quite happy in WEC at the moment, doesn't he, does Mick? So Leclerc is obviously purple in the first sector, first one to do a lap. That's now been beaten by Norris, who does a 99 to show us all the paces there in the McLaren. Don't forget as well, Sky were talking about McLaren not really been in this and having a bad weekend. And I think Norris even described Friday as the worst Friday of the season for McLaren. So they're at the stage now of their era, let's call it that, for this season, of having bad Fridays and getting us all excited for an epic race at the front between 4 or 5 teams and then locking out the front row and disappearing. So we had this. Mercedes used to do it all the time, didn't they? Oh, God, we're really struggling. We're really struggling. Ha-ha! Half a second quicker than everybody else. So 1:11.7 for Leclerc. Used tyres, by the way, for Hamilton and Hadjar. Albon's trying the mediums. Norris has been off track at the final chicane. So he'll lose that one. And it's a 127.3 for Hamilton. What's happened there? Piastri goes fastest on a 111.2. We couldn't sneak into the 10s here, could we? I think we'd need one hell of a lap. That said, Max Verstappen is on one hell of a lap. He is nearly 2/10 up as Alonso goes third in that middle sector alone. So this is we're going to be very, very low 111s here if Verstappen gets all this spot on here. Over the line he goes. It's a 111.248, so 2.5 hundredths, 25 thousandths quicker than Piastri, so it's closer there. Don't forget Norris lost his time for going off track at the final chicane, so this is going to be close. This happens to Norris, I'm guessing, just a bit hot into the chicane. Absolutely that. Oh, but I think his back end got away there, didn't it? Reset and remember your braking references is what Norris is told. Probably need to remember before that, but there you go. It happens. That chicane is trickier than it looks. I love this track so much. I don't care if people hate it. I don't think many people do. This is a driver's track as well. It's deceptively difficult. You look at that track. I think Nico Rosberg was making this point to Danica Patrick, who again was immediately shut down on a wrong point. It's deceptively difficult, and it's a proper driver's circuit, and it looks easier than it actually is. I love it. It's so good, and mistakes are punished as well. The slightest mistake is punished. That's how it should be. There shouldn't be, here goes Grandad Sean. There shouldn't be 3.5 miles of runoff at a corner. There should be enough that if they have a big accident, they're going to be okay, but they need to be punished if they make a mistake. That's racing. But there you go. Oh, it's the way they rejoin after that final corner, and Russell is staying to the right. Cars are starting to stay to the right now. Russell goes third. What's Albon doing on the mediums? That'll be interesting to keep an eye on. Antonelli goes fourth in the second Mercedes, so a little bit off his teammate, but 700, it's not too bad. So Norris needs this lap, then he's got to go again. Still 6.5 minutes, a really short lap here, so it's quite easy to get your laps in. Less traffic, of course, to worry about at the moment, with only 10 cars out there in total. I say that, there's less than that now. We've got 3 in the pit. So he got through the final chicane. This time did Norris. Over the line he goes. 5th fastest, but of course they've already done a hot lap, so his next set will be critical. Adam Norris. Is it Adam Norris? Oh, well, the thing said it was, so he must be. I don't know. The last hairpin, it always feels, doesn't it, geography, that it always feels like they take forever to get the power down, doesn't it? You're sort of like, go on, go on, go on, and then they just, you can't, because the barrier will soon catch up with you on the exit, so... Here goes Albon on these medium tyres, and so 11.2 from Verstappen is currently the fastest. Albon does a 108, but he doesn't really. Does a 9th, a 12 flat-ish. About where you'd expect Albon to be, 9th place, isn't it, in a top 10 shootout in that Williams? So if he can get himself, maybe that the battle for him is Alonso, I think. Albon had job, he chased Alonso, but had job probably getting a 3-place grid drop. It tends to be, doesn't it? So. Ben Stiller again. We've cut back to him having the time of his life by the look of it. So there we go. I don't know why. We're just obsessed with Ben Stiller. Is he in the new film? I don't think he is he? So in comes Oscar Piastri. Just watching 2 people have an argument in chat, but I don't know if they're actually arguing or whether they're just having a laugh with it. They look like they're having fun with it, so it looks like it's a bit of being silly, which is fine. We like silliness. We're in that awkward little lull now. 4 minutes to go. Everyone putting on a fresh set. So we have got 2 cars on track, Alonso and Hamilton. Alonso on the mediums. and they are new mediums. Hamilton on a new set of softs, so they're going in the gap, as we like to call it. So it's going to be softs for Leclerc. Are they new softs on Leclerc's? Wait for it. Yeah, they are. They're shiny. There we go. New softs for Leclerc. Albon's on the mediums, but he may yet pit and put on a new set of something else. He's in Happy Gilmore too, says John. Is he? Oh, he will be. Yeah, of course he will be. I don't know if I'm going to bother with that. I feel like that's going to be a bit like Hocus Pocus 2, and it's just going to be full of fan service and one of the worst things I've ever seen. Certain films don't need a sequel. Hocus Pocus did not need a sequel. But yeah, they'll make some money off it, so that's fine. I suppose it's all that matters. So Lewis Hamilton then, I'm not getting lots of rant about Hocus Pocus, don't worry about that. That's my childhood right there. Hamilton, yellow in the middle sector, so not really on it here on those soft tyres, on those fresh softs. 19.9 in the first sector. So his pace has dropped off because he was we thought he was a bit more in the mix, didn't we? He seemed to have a bit of pace, but maybe as everyone else is finding their feet, it's knocking Ferrari back a bit as Alonso goes fourth, by the way, on a set of medium tyres, a 111.5. Russell's on mediums. Verstappen's on mediums, so he's happier on those. Antonelli, we'll see when he comes out the pits. A lot of them try. This is really intriguing. This is. Are we gonna get a medium tyre on pole position? That'd be a story. See, here's the thing, locomotive models. I remember that from Martin Brundle. I've not been this disappointed since Shrek 2. I actually think Shrek 2 is a really good film, but then I love Jennifer Saunders, so that's probably why more than anything. But yeah. Although it is weird if you're in the UK and you catch the US version of that, and vice versa, I imagine, with the different actors in there. Oh, really? Oh, Leclerc all over the road. That's the end of that. He was perp in the first sector as well, but I think he's pissed off by the look of it with Isack Hadjar. He got in the dirty air, had a massive amount of oversteer. Car was all over the place. We're going to back off and hopefully he can go again, but he was purple in the first sector. Piastri's a 10th down on Verstappen in that first sector alone. What is Norris going to do? He's 200ths down on Max Verstappen. Don't forget, Verstappen did his time and is still out there on medium tyres, so this is weird. I like this. It adds something else to qualifying. Intriguing is the word, Claudia. I agree. Intriguing. Interesting. Fascinating. Who knows? Norris not improving the middle sector. Max Verstappen, I'm not going to say it. Verstappen's gone purple in the middle sector by nearly 0.2 of a second, by the way. And I've lost connection to the mini box apparently, so I'll have to wait a minute and I'll have to try pretend I know what's happening until it comes back to me. Piastri stood at 1:11.1. Where the hell has that come from? With that pace, we'll wait and see what Lando Norris does over the line. He is only 7th. Wow, that's appalling from Lando Norris there, lap time wise. And Verstappen does a 1:11.059. The picture just came back. Max Verstappen on provisional pole because George Russell is absolutely on it here. Russell goes to a 1:10.899. I did say we'd get into the 10s, and George Russell has done it with provisional pole position. Antonelli goes 4th. Where did that come from? George, I don't know his middle name. Franklin Russell. There you go. He's a Franklin now. Where did that come from? On the medium tyre, a 1:10.8 and a 10th.5 quicker than Max Verstappen, who had just nicked it just before that. We haven't got a McLaren in the top 2. We've only got one in the top 6. Hadjar goes 9th, penalty pending. Leclerc didn't improve, unfortunately for him. What on earth has happened there? George Russell, pole position. Only 8% of you voted for Mercedes for pole, but that's because it didn't look likely, did it? But there we go. They've had pace, to be fair, have Mercedes, but once McLaren got it all turned up for qualifying and Verstappen worked his magic, I thought they'd fall off and maybe be behind those three, but not at all. So here's what happened to Leclerc again. Is it the dirty air from the Racing Bulls, or is he just going a bit hot into turn 6 and then goes hot through 7 as well, trying to make up for it? He's waving at the Racing Bulls. He's not happy. He is saying dirty air. Dirty, dirty, dirty air, dirty. Anyway. I can't. Is that impeding? Really? Emma Rose says, I voted Mercedes and I never doubted George. Well in. There you go. Got to keep the faith, Emma. You've got to keep the faith. My faith is dwindling for Ferrari. I'm wearing a Ferrari shirt tomorrow now. I have decided. There you go. I'm doing it. Three different teams in the top 3. Alonso 6th is a big surprise. Hamilton up in 5th, actually, ahead of Leclerc. I know Leclerc had his mistake, but I mean, look at that. That first sector from Leclerc was 5 thousandths quicker than Verstappen, and was what's that, 781, so about 700ths quicker than Russell. He may well have been in the scrap for pole position today, Charles Leclerc, without that issue, mistake, whatever. So that's a big surprise. Norris down in 7th is a shock as well. So I mean, wow, didn't expect that at all. Really surprised by that. We are going to stay live, by the way, for probably another 20 minutes. We'll do some questions as always, and we'll look ahead to tomorrow and make some predictions and all that business. A lot of people will disappear now. You often do. But if you are disappearing, thank you so much for popping along. Please do drop a like before you go. We're 16 away from 100 likes. So if we could do that, that'd be amazing. And subscribe as well if you are new. Thank you to, I think, Gabrielle Ang or Ainge is the only one who's come through on Streamlabs today. So thank you very much for subscribing if you have, and your name hasn't appeared on there. But yes, please do have a go at dropping a like and a sub, and also have a really lovely rest of your day or evening wherever you are in the world. And I am live tomorrow, by the way, again from 6:30 p.m. BST for race start at 7 p.m. So looking forward to what. That's a cracking grid as well, by the way. Russell, Verstappen, Piastri, Antonelli, Hamilton, Alonso. That's a really good top 6. Looking forward to that battling tomorrow. And Norris coming back from 7th as well, by the way. So that's going to be good to watch. And Leclerc, I suppose, too. So yeah, we'll do some predictions in a bit. We'll do some questions as well. But yeah, if you are disappearing, thank you for your support today. I appreciate the company. And I promise I'll complain less about the weather tomorrow, and I'll wear a Ferrari shirt as well to try and hopefully get some good results from Ferrari or jinx them completely. So, yeah. Nick says, yeah, probably when I talk about Verstappen and Russell crashes turn 1. That, you know what, Craig? It's just dawned on me. Yeah, it's a good point. Those two on the front row, whoever writes the scripts for F1, they're nailing it. Couldn't have timed that any better, could they? Perfect. I'm just going to get a quick drink, get your questions in chat, and then we'll do some Q&A, and we'll do a bit more waffling because it hasn't been enough, and then we'll end for the day. But we've got a good 15-20 minutes, so lots to talk about, I'm sure. Chat, Phil, have done any interviews, just what you need, but you've just been in the car all afternoon. Thank you. Is it Simon or Same for subscribing? Appreciate that one, mate. Thank you very much. Crofty casually throwing daggers at Norris whilst critiquing Oscar's lap, says Louis. Well, I mean, look, no, I'm not. No, I'm not going to say it. I'm not, because it needs to be a video. I'm doing a video on Oscar Piastri next week. I've decided, because it really baffles me that no one's talking about him. Also, has anybody else got the vibe as well? Maybe it's just me that nobody seems to really give a shit about this season. I don't know what it is. I think it's shaping up to be a really interesting battle between Piastri and Norris, and I think Verstappen, if he gets the car right and in the mix, is going to be great. And as we've seen here, Mercedes could throw themselves in there too, but I get the impression people really aren't interested in this season. I might be not in the chat. You guys are well up for it. But yeah. 2 40-year-olds in the top 6, says Hansi. Yeah, you see, age is just a number. I can't remember the number, but it is just a number. I think it's shaking up to be Piastri domination, says Nick. Yeah. He's won 5 of the opening 9, for God's sake. And everyone's like, oh yeah, Oscar Piastri, forgot about him. You hear it on Sky all the time. You go, oh, you know, if Norris can get these 1 or 2 things right, then he'll go off and he'll win this, I'm sure. Hi, Oscar Piastri exists. He's still here. He's got a couple of things he needs to iron out as well. And once he's done it, surely he improves as well. But anyway, and I still refuse to write Max Verstappen off completely, by the way, because it's Max Verstappen. So what does the tyre allocation look like for everyone tomorrow? I'm not sure, to be honest, Polly. It's something that I won't get until the morning from Pirelli or later tonight. So I can't say right now. But I can't imagine there's many, if any, who have any soft tyres left. So I've not seen a lot of hard running. So I expect we're going to see the hards tomorrow quite a bit. So I think the softs will be something that if someone's got a relatively okay set, they've done a couple of laps maybe, they can pull those out and use them if we get a safety car late on. But I expect it's probably a medium start for most, hard middle stint or medium middle stint, then I'm hoping for 2 stops and a hard or medium final stint, depending on what they've used. But yeah, I'm hoping for 2 stops tomorrow. But it's the first thing. If you do join us tomorrow, it's the first thing that I'll go over in the stream when we've done the grid and that in the evening tomorrow. So I'll best go over tyre allocation, who's got what and things like that. So Canada is Hamilton territory. Says Sajin. It is 7 wins, same as Michael Schumacher. I think haven't they got like 6? Is it 6, 7, or 8 poles each around Canada as well? It's definitely a track they both enjoy, or in Schumacher's case, enjoyed, of course. But Lewis Hamilton, he always tends to go well here. So 5th place, maybe not a total surprise, but would he have been behind Leclerc if my grandmother had wheels and all of that? If he'd not made that mistake, we'll never know. But I was genuinely so hopeful when I saw Norris purple sector 1 and 2 on the first Q3 lap before that last chicane, says Fabian. Yeah, it was weird, just a big twitch it looked like from the other angle, and then my TV feed cut out, so I couldn't tell you exactly what happened, but cut across the chicane. So it's a great people. The people are just so used to Mercedes or Red Bull legitimate threats, says Louis. I think and that's fair for filling the blanks as well. The season seems to lack that bit of spice that 21 and 22 had, despite the fact that it's more competitive now. Do you think, and this is a question I suppose, do you think if this was year 2 or 3 of Norris versus Piastri for a championship, that it would be very different? Because I think this is their first season in the car to beat, isn't it? And it's their first season going for a title against each other, so it still feels very cordial, doesn't it? They still seem like busy mates, whereas if this was the 2nd or 3rd season they were doing this, they wouldn't be. Look at Hamilton and Rosberg, the best of friends, and then all of a sudden that all started to change. Season 1, everything was still not always happy, but they still seemed to be fine, and then season 2 it started to change, and season 3 we know it got worse. So maybe that's what it is. Maybe we just need 2 or 3 seasons of Piastri versus Norris before it really kicks in. But Piastri's also ludicrously chill, and Norris just seems to want to give himself a kicking every time he gets out of the car. So maybe they're very different personalities as well, aren't they, to, you know, a Senna and a Prost relationship and whatever. I'm just waffling now, but yeah, just trying to work out why. But yeah, Piastri is like another Prost character, says Nick. 2 down to earth and sensible. He needs a rival. I don't know. I thought he needs a slap. I don't know what I thought you were going to say, but rival was probably the better word, Nick. I'll go with that one. No, he needs someone to wind him up, doesn't he? Does Oscar Piastri? No, I like that though. I like that. If you've got kind of the fiery Verstappen and super quick and talented Verstappen, the talent of Piastri, but also he's a level head. That's that photo I was telling you about earlier, by the way, the Aaron and Colapinto one. And then you've got Norris, who's sort of, I think, a bit of both in some ways, but maybe he's not as aggressive as Verstappen, we know that, but he's a different character altogether. So I'm just surprised they've not come together more. It's funny though, Sajin. I get your point. It says because because Oscar is boring, no one is interested in talking about him. It's always Verstappen, Russell, or Ferrari. I get that, but the thing is, then when something happens with Verstappen, everyone does nothing but slag him off and moan about him. So, do you want entertaining, aggressive drivers who keep us all talking, or do you want a grid full of Piastris who maybe, as you've worded it there, isn't interesting or whatever, or not exciting? But I feel like. I'm trying. Not everyone's the same. I'm not labeling everyone the same thing. It might just be the different size flare up as they need to on the interweb. But it's just, yeah. Again, back to what I said earlier. I'd take a grid full of Verstappens any day of the week over some of these grid full of some of these other drivers. So, yeah, give me a Verstappen versus Hamilton versus Alonso championship fight next year. Oh, you want to see spicy? That'll be spicy. In fact, I am going to go and rig the championship for next year. Has anyone got the FIA's number? That was a joke. Who do you think will win tomorrow, says Max? Is that for tomorrow, Max? Well, we'll do that one. There you go. Please do. Let's do some predictions then. What have we got for tomorrow? Your top three, your podium, if you like. And obviously who your winner's going to be. You can put some reasons in or whatever if you want to, but just I'll read some of them out, give you some shout outs as well. I will butcher names if you're new, so apologies. Unless your name's John Smith, I'm going to struggle. Everyone changes their name to John Smith. John Smith said. So yeah, please do get your predictions in. I said Piastri on Thursday. That's the one I'll be scored on, so officially I have to stick with that one. And I think I said Norris second, and I went Verstappen third. I still think from third on the grid, Piastri's got a great shot at winning this. But he's a championship leader. His main rival's seventh. He's got more to lose. Well, Verstappen can't be overly aggressive, can he? Tomorrow. I mean, he says he won't change his approach, but although I look, controversial take. You know, if he gets a race ban, then all the points are wiped off his license and he can have a lot of fun for the rest of the season. So would a race ban be the end of the world? Really, given that he's pretty much written off the championship. So I don't know, maybe not. But I'll go Piastri, Verstappen, Russell. There you go. I think Norris will probably end up on the podium, but I'm gonna. No, that's boring. Piastri, Verstappen, Hamilton. There you go. I nearly said Alonso. There you go. That's my top three for tomorrow. I don't believe most of that, but I'm going to say it anyway. There'll be a lot of safety cars, I would imagine. Well, as Hansi said, the safety car chance is high. 16 contrary, I believe, to what Mr. Croft said. 16 races have been affected by safety cars over the years. 38 deployments overall since 93 was the first one. Well, official safety cars, let's say. We did get a safety car when safety cars weren't really a thing. But yes, there's been a lot over the years. And again, if you haven't watched 2011, that's your half day tomorrow sorted. So there you go. Yeah, so I think that safety cars can often hamper a leader, can't they? So I don't know. I feel a bit bad saying that because that's a hell of a lap. Look at that exit from that chicane. That's bang on. That's a hell of a lap from George Russell. It really is. I feel a bit bad knocking him off the podium, but it'd be boring if he just kept giving you the top three every time that's already there, wouldn't it? So yeah, I could see a safety car tomorrow, and maybe even a safety car finish. Maybe. Was Canada the first time we ever had a safety car finish in F1? It wasn't, was it? Where was it? Or was it? Yeah, 97. Yeah, thank you, Nick. I thought it was. Had it in my head. Surprises notice. Thank you as always, Sean, for putting his streams on. Bienvenue au Canada. Or Canada. I'm so I didn't mean to do that. That was really bad. I tell you what, if I do move to Canada, I need to brush up on that, don't I? Goodness me. But thank you, surprises. No, I appreciate that one. I hope you had a good session. Now you're looking forward to the race tomorrow, and appreciate the support. And apologies for my horrifically bad pronunciation there. So there we go. Let's have a look at what you guys say with predictions. That's what I'll say. As I say, hey Kaori, hope you're well. Says man, what a qualifying. Apparently shots fired during the interview, says Kaori. So intrigued by that one. If you want to rig it, do a Verstappen Russell Championship fight for next year, says Nick. Liam says Verstappen, Piastri, Russell. Just a gut feeling. Imagine Verstappen wins and brings himself right back into play again. Goodness me. Jamie says Sainz podium. I'm calling it now. There you go. You heard it here first. Maxim hopes it's not Russell. Piastri, Antonelli, Norris is what Red Raven said in 3 bold predictions. Verstappen crashes out. Tsunoda Hadjar collide with Hulkenberg. Collide and Hulkenberg scores. Is pole on the left or the right on this track? It's the left as we look at it and the right for the driver's foot, I believe. Verstappen equals one more and he's banned. Yeah, he's got to be careful. Louis says Piastri has Eddie Norris. Pascal says Russell, Piastri, Hamilton and Nico in the points. Jamie's going Verstappen, Anthony Hamilton. Piastri has Eddie Hamilton for AJ. Hey AJ, I hope you're well. Enthusiastic says George Pole. See, there you go. Sticking with your name there. Sergio says Lewis aiming for retirement when he's 44. So if anyone is talking about retirement, you can go to bed. 44 would be nice and poetic, wouldn't it, given his race number? It would be nice. A Ferrari on the podium will occur, says Michael. I hope so. When I think of safety car finishes, I remember Schumacher's cheeky and at the time legal but still penalised manoeuvre at the end of that one Monaco Grand Prix, says Fudd. That's going back a little bit, isn't it? Was he in a Mercedes? And he wasn't he? Yeah. Try to think of what I think of when I think of safety cars. I can imagine what a lot of people think of when they think of safety cars. I'm trying to think of... Let me think. I'll see what I think of. If it comes to the end of the stream, I will do. If not, I'll remind me tomorrow and I'll think what I can think of. So Max on the inside of turn one. George's hopes they're going to squeeze him. Well, they can goad him according to Martin Brundle. So there you go. Norris always losing it on his quali lap this year, says Nick. And Pole is on the left side sitting on the grid, says Kaori. Is it on the left side? I need to go check that. Did that change at some point? I'm trying to multitask here. It's not good. I don't know what that spelling is, but it ain't English. Let's see. See what I find a start from last year. I'm hoping is my desktop audio off. It is indeed. Let's have a look. Russell was on pole last year, wasn't he? Same time as Max Verstappen, 112 flat, as I recall. And we'll see. Oh no, yeah, you're right. Sorry, it's the right side as we look at it, the left side for the drivers. Yeah, sorry about that. I knew it was one way around. It was obviously one way around because that's the only way it could be. But yeah, it is. Sorry, it's right as we look at it, left for the drivers. Sorry, I got the wrong way around. But yeah, I got confused then. I thought in my head I was right, but factually I was wrong. So there you go. Make of that what you will. Thank you for correcting that one. I appreciate that one, Kaori. I got myself muddled there with something else. Matt says hello, mate. Hey Matt, hope you well, mate. Craig says Verstappen rams Russell up the arse in turn one and F1 calls it a racing incident. Well, there you go. And now I've hyped myself and I'm looking forward to Hadjar Tsunoda declining the race. The warp this getting to me, says Red Raven. Help! Yes, it's well, yeah. So let's have a run through. I didn't do running through the order and a pause for timestamp. Apologies. If you are listening to this later, by the way, and you're still listening to this, let me know down below if the timestamps are still something that you use or you need. I know some people get annoyed that I don't crop out the first 6 minutes with the countdown and the music, but if I do that, then the live chat replay doesn't work. So I think people would rather have the live chat replay than have the minor inconvenience of having to skip 6 minutes. I mean, I do put the countdown on screen so you can see how far you need to skip, so it's not that big of a deal, I'm sure. Yeah. Any more questions and points? I'll run through the grid then while you guys get any final questions, and we'll leave it for today because I said 20 minutes. We're nearly there already, and you know what I'm like, so another 3 hours yet. George Russell is on pole for the Canadian Grand Prix, the 2025 Canadian Grand Prix. Surprisingly on pole. Good pace all weekend, like I say, but wasn't expecting him to do it today. 110.899. A tenth and a half quicker than Max Verstappen in second place. Oscar Piastri is third, the highest of the McLarens, a couple of tenths off Russell's pace and only just over half a tenth behind Max Verstappen. Kimi Antonelli fourth, 111.3, with Lewis Hamilton in fifth on 111.5 and Fernando Alonso a 111.5 as well in sixth. Will say, I feel like I ought to shout out a bit more Kimi Antonelli with P4. Little bit difficult when the teammate's on pole and you're half a second off, but it is still a top four start for a young lad in his first season. I don't think that's a bad effort at all, but I have a feeling when they interview him, he's going to think he wanted more out of that, which I could understand, but not bad given that earlier in the session, I think he looked like he was struggling a little bit. Fernando Alonso P6 because it's Fernando Alonso. Lando Norris only 7th. What can I say? All the pressure on after making that error at the final chicane. Didn't deliver when he needed to. It was fresh tyres as well, so not even an excuse there. 111.6 down his 7th. Big job for him tomorrow. Can overtake in Canada, and safety cars can mix it up, but they also can work against you, so who knows. In fact, he's just being interviewed now and he looks Well, he can't win, whatever he says, so there you go. Charles Leclerc, 111.6 in 8th, was Isack Hadjar 9th, and Alex Albon in 10th place. Yuki Tsunoda is 11th. He will take a 10-place grid penalty, so he'll start from the very back or the pit lane, depending on what Red Bull wants to do. Isack Hadjar, I should say, in 9th, is under investigation for impeding Carlos Sainz, and we all seem to agree that's pretty much a slam dunk, so probably 3-place drop there. We'll see what happens. Franco Colapinto, really good actually, really good effort in 12th place in the Alpine, and well out qualifying his teammate. Nico Hulkenberg 13th into Q2, 14th for Bearman, 15th for Ocon, and it was 16th for Bortoletto, 17th for Sainz, 18th for Stroll, t-shirt didn't work, 19th for Lawson as well, really struggling, and Pierre Gasly in 20th place. Let's see. Matt says Verstappen will win. Leclerc was a run that may well have gone pole. Yeah, I mentioned that earlier actually, Matt. It was his first sector was really, really good. It was purple, but it was really good compared to those around him. So he was in the mix for pole today, but obviously all went a bit wrong. He got the dirty air from Hadjar, but I don't think that's impeding. Some might disagree, but Hadjar, he can't just stop in the middle of the track. He's got to keep going to a point, and he's already in that corner. So I don't think there's anything in that, but they might have a look at it. We'll see. His engineer could let him know sooner, I suppose. But yeah, how's George's race pace compared to Max? I'm not sure, Jithyu, but if anybody knows, please do pop it in the chat, and I'll see if I read that one out. But I didn't catch the long runs yesterday. I had some stuff to sort out. So should we do 24 hours? Le Mans with a GTR R35 together, says Maxim. I thought you meant like a watch along then. I was like, I'm not staying live for another 18 hours or whatever it is left. It'll be a bit less than that now, won't it? We've lost 6-7 hours-ish, a bit more. So yeah, can't do that one. I was impressed with Colapinto as well, Matt. I remember Alonso started P2 here for Alpine a couple of years ago. Yes, he did. Surprised all in that one as well, didn't he? But didn't work out in the end. Lando having Alonso in front of him could end his race before it starts, says Dan. Colapinto starts P10 now. I think Hadjar will get a 3-place penalty from a Q1 block. 1, 2. Yeah, he will. Yeah, and actually, hang on. Yeah, he will be 10th. Yeah, no, just double check. He will be 10th place. Yeah, you're right. He will top 10 start. So, yeah, Kaori's got Le Mans in the background. Good stuff. I shall leave that on tonight when I'm going to bed, I'd imagine. Catch up on me YouTubes. And then we'll go from there. Thank you to Simon, by the way, and for Gillian for subscribing. Appreciate the support. But I think Lando finished third, maybe fourth best on the grid. Mark my words, says Matt. I think we'll leave it there. We've gone past the 20-minute mark, like I said. So I'm going to go and get a very, very, very cold drink, and I'm going to go and burn this t-shirt because I've ruined Lance Stroll's life and it's really uncomfortable. So Aston Martin, if you're watching, because I know somebody does keep an eye. If you're watching, your merch, it's a bit itchy and a bit uncomfortable. So, sort it for next year. Sort it and I'll buy 2. I'll buy 3 and give 1 away. There you go. Now I've said that. Now I've got to do it. So that was stupid, wasn't it? But anyway, it's not like they're expensive or anything. We will leave it there for today. Thank you so much for your support. Please do leave a like, by the way, before you go, and subscribe if you're new. Lots to come. Just a heads up, there won't be any roundups this weekend on socials because we haven't got anybody on the ground in Canada this weekend, so they'll be back on socials from Austria with Thomas, I'd imagine. So yeah, there won't be anything there, so it'll just be the streams this weekend, then shorts and videos next week as we build up to Austria the following week, of course. So yeah, lot still to come, but a couple of things missing for the schedule this weekend, unfortunately, but that's the way it goes. So but never mind, it's all good. But I will be back tomorrow at 6:30 p.m. BST, I believe, for the Canadian Grand Prix. And I think we've got Norris hit the wall, by the way. They're just showing a replay on his fast lap. Where Stroll did it in practice? It was indeed. So yeah, Norris did hit the wall, so that's explain that. So there you go, got them before the end. But yes, I'm back at 6:30 p.m. tomorrow BST for the race watch on. Cracking grid, really looking forward to it. Get some questions ready for me. We'll do a really good Q&A once we've got through all the usual stats and that before the race, and we'll do a few chats afterwards as well with some Q&A, so should be good. But as ever, I'll get there in the end. But as ever, thank you for watching. I've been Sean. This has been the F1 Word. And until next time, Goodbye.